throwaway account because some of my friends know my main. I have been with my boyfriend Sam for 2 years, and while we're generally good together, I've been questioning some aspects of our compatibility lately. Nothing major, just the normal stuff you think about in a longer relationship. For context, I'm in the final 3 months of studying for my medical licensing exam, the culmination of 8 years of education and training. This exam will determine my entire future career. No pressure, right? I'm talking 12-hour study days, practice questions, and basically no social life. It's been brutal but necessary. The stress has definitely created some tension between me and Sam. I've had to dedicate most evenings and weekends to studying rather than spending time with him. He's been understanding for the most part, but I can tell it's wearing on him too. We've gone from seeing each other almost daily to maybe catching a quick dinner once or twice a week. To complicate things further, Sam was recently diagnosed with a chronic health condition that requires regular doctor appointments and support. The timing couldn't be worse with my exam coming up, but I've been trying my best to be there for him while still keeping up with my study schedule. Enter my friend Lily. We've known each other since college, and she's always been overly involved in my love life, like to an uncomfortable degree sometimes. She's only met Sam a handful of times, but has decided he's too boring for me. She brings this up constantly despite me telling her to drop it. Seriously, it's exhausting. Last Saturday, I agreed to take a rare evening off from studying to attend a casual dinner with a few friends to give my brain a break. I was actually looking forward to it since I've barely left my apartment except to go to the library or get groceries in weeks. Sam was at his parents' that weekend helping them with some house projects, so the timing worked out. When I arrived at the restaurant, I immediately knew something was off. The only person at the table was this guy Jake, who I vaguely recognized as one of Lily's friends from her Instagram. No sign of Lily or any of these few friends she mentioned. I awkwardly introduced myself and sat down, then immediately texted Lily asking where she was. Her response? Had a last-minute emergency. Have fun with Jake, though. He's excited to meet you. I'll try to join later. I knew right then she was never planning to show up. This isn't the first time she's pulled something like this, but usually not this blatantly. Throughout dinner, Jake kept making comments that made it obvious he thought I was single. He mentioned how Lily had told him all about me and how we have so much in common. He seemed like a nice enough guy, but the whole situation made me increasingly uncomfortable. He shifted his chair closer to mine at one point and started referencing future activities we could do together. It was obvious this was supposed to be a date in his mind. The breaking point came when Jake placed his hand on my arm while laughing at something I said. I finally had to clarify that I have a boyfriend of 2 years. He was genuinely confused. He pulled out his phone and showed me text messages where Lily had explicitly told him I was single and looking to date. She had described my relationship with Sam as basically over anyway, WTF. We awkwardly finished dinner with Jake, apologizing repeatedly for the misunderstanding. He seemed like a decent person, caught in Lily's web of manipulation just like me. By the time we paid the bill, I was seething with anger at Lily, not Jake. After leaving the restaurant, I called Lily immediately. When she picked up, she actually laughed about the situation, saying she was just trying to help because Sam and I are obviously not working out, and Jake is much more my type. I tried explaining that with my upcoming exam and Sam's health issues, this was particularly bad timing for her matchmaking schemes. She completely dismissed these concerns, saying I always have excuses for not moving on from Sam. I hung up after telling her I needed space. That was 3 days ago, and she's already sent me multiple texts acting like nothing happened. Meanwhile, I'm behind on my study schedule because I've been so distracted by this whole mess. Thanks a lot, Lily. What makes me even angrier is that she knows how critical this exam period is for me. It's the culmination of my entire educational journey and will determine what residency programs I can apply to. The last thing I need right now is relationship drama, manufactured by someone who's supposed to be my friend. And poor Sam, he's dealing with a new diagnosis, managing medications and doctor appointments, and trying to figure out what this means for his life long term. Instead of supporting both of us during this challenging time, Lily is actively trying to break us up and lying to other people about our relationship status. I should mention that Lily has a history of this kind of behavior. She set me up on surprise dates before, though never quite this blatantly. She also tends to bail on plans at the last minute if they don't serve her purposes. I've overlooked these tendencies because we've been friends for so long, and she can be really supportive in other ways. She helped me through a really tough period during my second year of med school. The thing that bothers me most is her complete disregard for my boundaries and her manipulation of both me and Jake. She put us both in an uncomfortable position and seems to feel zero remorse about it. When I brought this up, she acted like I was being dramatic and said I should be thanking her for introducing me to someone more suitable than Sam. I still haven't told Sam about what happened. He's been dealing with a flare-up of his condition this week, and I don't want to add to his stress. But I feel guilty keeping this from him, especially since Lily is spreading misinformation about our relationship status to other people. Part of me wants to completely cut Lily off after this violation of trust, but I'm worried that completely severing the friendship would create drama in our larger friend group right when I need stability for my exam preparation. We share many mutual friends, and I don't have the emotional bandwidth to navigate friend group drama right now on top of everything else. I feel violated by Lily's disregard for my boundaries and manipulative behavior, but I'm torn about how to proceed. Am I overreacting to what she might see as helping? Should I tell Sam what happened? And how do I manage this situation without letting it derail my exam preparations even further? Thanks for reading this far if you made it. Sorry for the wall of text. Any advice on handling this while maintaining my sanity and study schedule would be much appreciated. Now for the first update. First of all, thank you all so much for the support on my original post. I've been reading every comment and really appreciate the advice. Rip my inbox though. Seriously. It's been about a week since I posted about Lily's attempt to set me up with Jake behind my back, and things have gotten even messier than before. So the morning after posting, I decided I needed to tell Sam about what happened. I'd been putting it off because of his health stuff, but so many of you pointed out that keeping secrets would only make things worse. And you were totally right. I caught him before he left for work and gave him the basic rundown of Lily's surprise date setup and how uncomfortable it made me. He was understandably upset, but mainly at Lily rather than me. He actually thanked me for being honest and said he trusted me to handle my friendships however I thought best. Given everything on both our plates right now, he was surprisingly chill about the whole thing. That's one of the reasons I love him to be. I decided to keep communication with Lily to an absolute minimum. My exam is coming up fast, and I just don't have the emotional bandwidth to deal with her drama right now. But of course, Lily didn't get the hint at all. Despite my one-word answers to her texts, she's been blowing up my phone constantly with messages about Jake. She sent me screenshots of his Instagram stories, which I never asked for, updates about what he's doing, and hints about how perfect we would be together. She has completely ignored the fact that I specifically told her I'm in a committed relationship and not interested in Jake. Side note, how exhausting must it be to be this invested in someone else's love life? Then yesterday, my friend Rachel called me. Apparently, Lily has been telling everyone that Sam and I are practically broken up and that I'm leading Sam on while being interested in Jake. I was absolutely livid. Not only is she trying to manipulate me and Jake, but she's also spreading false information about my relationship to all our mutual friends. Several people in our group have been giving me weird looks and making awkward comments about Sam lately, and now I know why. Last night, things got worse. I was at the library until almost midnight. Just casual medical student life. Sleep is for the weak, right? When I finally dragged myself to the parking lot, my car wouldn't start, just wouldn't turn over at all. Because of course this would happen when I'm exhausted and have another 12-hour study day planned for tomorrow. I sat there for a minute just wanting to cry from frustration before calling Sam, feeling terrible about waking him up since I knew he had an early doctor's appointment in the morning. While waiting for Sam in this parking lot, not creepy at all, my phone buzzed with a text from Jake. Yes, that Jake. Apparently, Lily had given him my number without my permission. He sent this long, heartfelt message about how he hasn't stopped thinking about me since our dinner, and how Lily assured him that my relationship with Sam was just a comfort thing and not serious. He said he felt a real connection with me and wanted to explore it further. Before I could even process this first message, another one came through saying he was willing to be patient while I figured things out with Sam, but wanted me to know his feelings were serious. I was completely stunned. The audacity of Lily to continue this manipulation even after I explicitly told her to stop was just unbelievable. I was so tired and stressed that I responded more harshly than I probably should have. I flat out told Jake I was not interested, that my relationship with Sam was genuine and committed, and that he needed to stop listening to Lily's manipulations. I may have used the phrase delusional fantasy at one point, not my proudest moment, but I was done. As I hit send, I saw Sam's car pull into the parking lot. Despite being woken up at midnight and dealing with his own health issues, he'd immediately come to help me. Watching him get out of his car, I felt this wave of appreciation for how reliable he's been through all this chaos. To all the commenters who suggested Sam might not be supportive enough, you were definitely wrong about that one. While Sam was jump-starting my car, my phone started blowing up with calls from both Jake and Lily. I ignored them until we got home, focusing instead on thanking Sam for coming to my rescue so late. When we finally got back and I checked my messages, there was a hurt response from Jake apologizing for bothering me, which made me feel a little guilty for my harsh tone. But then I saw the multiple angry texts from Lily calling me unnecessarily cruel to Jake and demanding I apologize to him. Her final message particularly infuriated me. It's not like dumping Sam would be hard. Just send a quick text since you barely see each other anyway. Jake deserves someone who appreciates how special he is. Is your blood boiling reading this? Because mine certainly was. I was so angry I immediately called her, which in retrospect was probably not the best idea at 1 a.m. after an exhausting day. As soon as she picked up, she immediately started talking over me, accusing me of leading Jake on by agreeing to dinner. She had the nerve to suggest that my dedication to my exam was just an excuse to avoid making decisions about my love life. I tried to explain that I never agreed to a date with Jake, that I was in a committed relationship, and that her continued interference was jeopardizing our friendship. But it was difficult to get through. When I finally hung up, I turned around to see Sam standing in the doorway of our bedroom. From his expression, I could tell he'd heard enough to understand what was happening. He looked hurt, but also concerned. For me, not himself. We ended up having a long, emotional talk that night, despite both being exhausted. He admitted he was worried I might be staying with him out of obligation because of his health issues. It broke my heart that Lily's manipulations had made him doubt our relationship. I reassured him that I was with him because I wanted to be, not out of pity or obligation. To the commenter who asked if I was reconsidering my relationship with Sam, absolutely not. If anything, this whole situation has made me appreciate him more. Now I'm feeling overwhelmed. I have this massive exam looming that will determine my entire career, and instead of focusing on studying, I'm dealing with Lily's boundary violations and manipulation. I'm worried about Sam and the stress this is putting on him during an already difficult time with his health, and I'm questioning whether my strong reaction to Jake was really about him or just displaced anger toward Lily. Several of you suggested in my original post that I needed to cut Lily off completely, and I'm starting to think you were right. But with only a few months until my exam, I'm worried about creating even more drama by completely severing the friendship right now. We have so many mutual friends, and I just don't have the emotional bandwidth to navigate friend group drama on top of everything else. Edit. Some clarification since a few people asked. I've known Lily since freshman year of college. We were roommates for 3 of those years and have been through a lot together. She's always been a bit intense about my love life, but never this extreme before. And yes, I've tried setting boundaries with her multiple times over the years, but she always finds ways to push past them. I guess my question now is, how do I minimize the drama and focus on what matters, my exam and supporting Sam, while dealing with Lily's continued interference? Is there a way to maintain some semblance of peace in our friend group without completely cutting her off right now? Or am I just delaying the inevitable? Thanks again for all your support and advice. It really helps to have objective perspectives since I'm too close to the situation to see it clearly. I'll update again when there's more to share about this mess. Now for the second update. Update 2. I can't believe so many of you predicted Lily would escalate things. Seriously, are you all psychics or something? Thank you all for your advice on my last post. It really helped me see I wasn't overreacting to her behavior. It's been 2 weeks since the whole car breakdown midnight confrontation situation, and I've been trying my absolute best to minimize the drama with Lily. With only 6 weeks left until my licensing exam, I've been focusing on studying and supporting Sam through his treatment. Despite everything, Sam and I have had several really good conversations about our relationship. We both acknowledge the strain my exam prep and his health issues have put on us, but we're committed to making it work. He's been amazing about creating a quiet study environment for me, and I've been helping coordinate his treatment plan when I take study breaks. I did end up sending Jake a brief message apologizing for my harsh tone that night, while firmly reiterating that I'm in a committed relationship and not interested in pursuing anything with him. He responded politely, and I thought that might be the end of the Jake situation. Spoiler alert, I was wrong. Something that's been bothering me lately. I checked my bank account last week and realized Lily still hasn't repaid any of the $2,000 she borrowed from me last year for what she called emergency rent. She swore she'd pay me back within a few months, but it's been over a year now. The kicker? I've seen her Instagram stories showing concert tickets, designer bags, and even a weekend trip to a luxury spa. When I gently reminded her about the loan via text, she read it and never responded. Real mature. Despite my efforts to distance myself from Lily, she somehow managed to integrate herself into my study group. She showed up uninvited to our session at the library last week, claiming she just wanted to support me during this stressful time. What she actually did was create constant distractions, take frequent bathroom breaks that mysteriously resulted in everyone getting coffee they didn't ask for, and somehow managed to bring up Jake in every other conversation. Yesterday, things went from annoying to completely unacceptable. I had scheduled a crucial study session at my apartment with 3 classmates. Sam was at a doctor's appointment, so I'd have the place to myself for focused group work. About an hour before everyone was supposed to arrive, my doorbell rang. I opened it expecting one of my study partners had arrived early. Instead, there stood Lily, with Jake beside her. I froze in the doorway, immediately recognizing there was absolutely no reason for either of them to be at my apartment. Jake looked uncomfortable, while Lily had a smile on her face. "We brought snacks for your study group," she announced, pushing past me into my apartment without waiting for an invitation. "Jake had to return the scarf you left at the restaurant that night." There was no scarf. I never had a scarf with me at that dinner. It was an obvious excuse, and from Jake's expression, I'm pretty sure he knew it too. Before I could even process what was happening, Lily had made herself comfortable on my couch and was patting the cushion next to her for Jake to sit down. "The study group won't be here for another hour, so we have plenty of time to talk," she said cheerfully. I stood there in shock as she picked up my medical textbooks from the coffee table and casually placed them on the floor to make room for the snacks she'd brought. I actually gasped when I saw some of the pages bend. Those books cost hundreds of dollars and contain all my detailed notes in the margins. "Lily, this is completely inappropriate," I finally managed to say. "I need you both to leave, now." Lily responded, "God, you're so intense these days. We're just being friendly. Right, Jake?" Jake mumbled something unintelligible, appearing uncomfortable. Meanwhile, Lily was flipping through one of my notebooks, commenting on how boring all this medical stuff must be. "Seriously, Lily, leave now." I was struggling to keep my voice even. "This is a crucial study session, and I didn't invite either of you." That's when she really crossed the line. She put down my notebook and looked me directly in the eyes. "You can't even take one night off from studying for this stupid test? No wonder Sam is looking for attention elsewhere." The room went completely silent. Even Jake stared at her in shock. "What is that supposed to mean?" I asked. Lily immediately backpedaled, waving her hand dismissively. "I just meant any boyfriend would feel neglected with how much you study. That's all." But her expression suggested she was implying something to create doubt. Her look made me uncomfortable. It took another 10 minutes of increasingly tense conversation, but I finally got them both out of my apartment. Jake actually apologized in the hallway while Lily waited by the elevator, though I was too upset to really register what he was saying. I immediately texted my study group to cancel. There was no way I could focus after that. I tried calling Sam, but he was still at his appointment and didn't pick up. So I just sat there on my couch, trying to reorganize my study materials and calm myself down. But Lily's comment about Sam looking for attention elsewhere kept echoing in my head. Logically, I know Sam would never cheat. He's been nothing but supportive and loving, even while dealing with his own health struggles. And I know Lily is manipulative and would say anything to create problems between us. But still, the doubt made my anxiety spike. Thanks, Lily, just what I needed with my exam looming. Around 6 p.m., my phone buzzed with a text from Jake. I almost ignored it, but curiosity got the better of me. I had no idea Lily was planning to bring me to your apartment today. I'm extremely uncomfortable with her behavior. There's something important regarding Lily that you should know. Can we meet tomorrow? Just for coffee? Nothing more. I've got to be honest, this whole situation feels very strange, rather than focusing on studying for the most important exam of my life. After pondering his text for a while, I decided to agree to meet Jake. At this point, I need to know what's going on with Lily, especially if there's something that might affect Sam or my exam preparation. We're meeting tomorrow morning at a coffee shop near my testing center. Part of me feels like this might be another trap, but Jake seemed genuinely uncomfortable with Lily's behavior today, and that comment about Sam has me worried. I finally managed to reach Sam on the phone after his appointment. I didn't tell him about Lily's insinuation. He has enough on his plate, but I did tell him about the unexpected visit. He was as upset as I was about their boundary crossing, but reminded me to try focusing on what really matters right now, my exam and our relationship, not Lily's drama. He's right, of course, but I can't help feeling this situation with Lily is getting out of control. What started as annoying meddling has turned into something concerning. The way she's inserted herself into every aspect of my life, my relationship, my studies, even showing up uninvited at my home, is worrisome. I never expected my decade-long friendship with Lily would turn problematic right before the most important exam of my career. I'll update again after meeting with Jake tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll finally understand what's really going on with Lily. Now for the final update. Final update on the Lily situation. First off, thank you all for your support through this whole mess. Your comments helped me realize I wasn't overreacting to her bizarre behavior. So I met up with Jake the morning after my last update. We met at this coffee shop near my testing center, and honestly, I was preparing myself for more drama or some elaborate trap. But what actually happened surprised me. Jake showed up looking exhausted and immediately apologized again for the apartment ambush. Then he pulled out his phone and showed me months of text conversations with Lily. Lily had been systematically lying to both of us for so long. She'd been sending Jake fabricated conversations she claimed to have had with me, where I supposedly complained about Sam and expressed interest in Jake. I never said any of this stuff, but that wasn't even the worst part. Jake scrolled to a conversation from about 3 weeks ago where Lily told him she was helping me study, when in reality, she was actively trying to sabotage my exam prep. She wrote, "OP doesn't really want to be a doctor anyway. She just needs someone to give her permission to quit. I've been working toward this for 8 years and have the student loans to prove it." The most disturbing thing Jake showed me was a group chat with some of our mutual friends where Lily claimed Sam was emotionally manipulating me by exaggerating his health condition to keep me from breaking up with him. This explained why some friends had been acting weird around me lately. They thought I was in a toxic relationship. Jake looked genuinely remorseful as he explained that he only realized how bad things were after seeing how uncomfortable Sam looked at my apartment. He admitted he'd had feelings for me based entirely on what Lily had told him about me, which was mostly fiction, apparently. He apologized again and said he wouldn't contact me anymore unless I reached out first. I immediately called Sam after leaving the coffee shop and filled him in on everything. We had a long conversation where we both reaffirmed our commitment to each other and shared our anger at Lily's attempts to damage our relationship. Sam was particularly upset about the health condition lies. His treatment plan is already complicated enough without someone spreading rumors that he's faking it for attention. With my exam now just 4 weeks away, I made the decision to completely cut contact with Lily. I blocked her on all platforms, explained the situation to our mutual friends with screenshots Jake had sent me, and decided to focus solely on my studies and relationship. Several friends were shocked, but ultimately supportive, especially after seeing the evidence. For about a week, things were actually peaceful. No drama, just studying and supporting Sam through his treatment. I was actually starting to feel confident about my exam again. Then came Thursday evening. I'd just finished a crucial practice exam at the library and was mentally exhausted, but feeling good about my performance. I got home around 6 p.m. expecting to find Sam cooking dinner like he'd mentioned that morning. Instead, I opened the door to find Lily sitting in my living room talking to Sam. They didn't notice me right away, and I overheard Lily mid-sentence saying, holding her back from her potential. If you really loved her, you would step aside so she could explore her connection with Jake without feeling guilty. I must have made some noise because Sam looked up when he saw me. Lily immediately switched to concerned friend mode. She rushed over trying to hug me, saying, "I've been so worried about you. Why have you been ignoring me when I'm just trying to help?" I stepped back, avoiding her hug, and asked the obvious question, "How the hell did she get into my apartment?" Lily casually mentioned using the spare key I had given her for emergencies last year, which I'd completely forgotten about and never asked her to return. Lesson learned. I immediately demanded she leave and return the key. That's when her behavior changed. She actually said, "I've invested too much in you to watch you throw away your chance at happiness with Jake just because you feel obligated to play nurse for Sam." Sam had been quietly sitting there this whole time, but I noticed he had his phone in his hand. I realized he was recording the conversation. I told Lily that I knew everything about her lies regarding Sam's condition, her fabricated conversations with me, her attempts to sabotage my exam preparation. With each accusation, she got more defensive until she finally snapped. "Fine, I did push you toward Jake because you deserve better than this dead-end relationship, and maybe I did exaggerate a few things, but someone needed to wake you up." The entitlement in her voice was unreal. She actually had the audacity to add, "Plus, you owe me for all the emotional support I've given you over the years." That reminded me of the $2,000 loan she still hadn't repaid despite all her luxury purchases. When I brought this up, she dismissed it as just money between friends and called me petty for mentioning it during an important conversation about your future. Sam finally spoke up, showing Lily his phone and calmly stating that he'd recorded her admission of lying about his medical condition, something that could potentially impact his insurance coverage and treatment if such rumors spread in our social circle. I've never seen Lily look so cornered. I told her in no uncertain terms, leave her key, repay the $2,000 within 30 days, and never contact either of us again. If she failed to comply, we would share the recording with our mutual friends and consider legal options for defamation regarding Sam's health condition and harassment. She left alternating between tearful apologies and comments about how we were overreacting. We changed our locks that night. It's been 2 weeks since the confrontation. Lily dropped an envelope containing my key and a check for $2,000 in my mailbox the very next day. The check actually cleared, and she hasn't attempted to contact either of us since. I've been able to focus completely on my exam prep these last 2 weeks. Sam's latest treatment is showing positive results, and we're planning a small getaway after my exam next month. Now that energy goes toward my studies and my relationship, the things that actually matter. Edit. Several people have asked if Jake was in on it with Lily. Based on our conversation and the evidence he showed me, I genuinely believe he was being manipulated too. He sent me one text after the confrontation, which I told him about, apologizing again and wishing me luck on my exam. He seems to be keeping his distance, which I appreciate. I'm finally at peace with everything that happened with Lily, though I'm definitely more cautious now about who I let into my inner circle. Thank you all for being part of this journey. Your advice helped me stand firm when I needed to.